Hello everyone and welcome back to another video where today we are back playing Planet Coaster 2 inside of American Dream, our smaller scale, independent, northeastern style park that we've been building for the past month now, over a month now actually, probably coming up on 2 months. I'm not entirely sure of the timeline, but in that time I've mentioned a western area for like the longest time now. I have really wanted to do a western area and that's exactly what we're doing now. I'm really excited to get this thing started. If you go to pretty much any northeastern park, any park in general typically has a western or somewhat of a western inspired area, but specifically the parks up in the northeast. I mean, you go to Six Flags New England, Six Flags Great Escape, you go to Canopy Lake Park, they all have western areas, some of which are, you know, definitely better than others, but the one here is going to be definitely more of a mix between Six Flags New England's western area, which is called Crack Axle Canyon, and then the Great Escape's western area, which is called Ghost Town. It's definitely going to be a mix between those, and it's going to be very on the nose western, if that makes sense. It's not going to be very much implied. It's going to be kind of in your face western, and that's kind of what those areas go for. That's what most theme park areas go for, and that's really what I want to try to replicate the best I possibly can here. And honestly, I think it comes out really good. We start off the area, as you can see, with the bumper cars. This is definitely inspired by the bumper cars over at Six Flags New England. Their bumper cars are held inside this awesome show building, and it's themed to a livery stable, which we're going to theme ours to a livery stable as well. If I don't know what a livery stable is, to be honest with you, I'm sure it has something to do with hay and cows and stuff like that, but I'm not entirely sure because I'm not a big country aficionado, but hey, that's what we're going to theme it to because theirs is themed to that, and so, you know, it's easy inspiration. But I really like theirs. It kind of has like this nice awning where you can kind of walk in and look at the ride from the pathway, if that makes sense. Well, not from the pathway. It's like underneath a cover that's also connected to the building. It's a bit harder to explain without you actually seeing it, but if you look up the Stampede bumper cars at Six Flags New England, then you'll know what I'm talking about. And that's kind of what I try to do here, but I'm only doing that to kind of shrink down the ride pad because like pretty much every other ride in Planet Coaster, the ride pad for the bumper cars is just massive. I don't know why. Specifically the bumper cars, because it just doesn't make any sense to have it like that, but it is. As you can see, we're putting this fence here, and that's going to kind of act as like the exit. Not really. It's going to look a little weird when peeps are like walking through it, because the peeps will walk through that fence. But as you can see, I put down the concrete underneath the ride pad. So not overneath, oh my god, over the ride pad to try to make it look a lot smaller than it actually is. But I mean, it still looks massive. But yeah, I mean, the whole ride pad itself is just huge. Which I absolutely hate, but you know, you have to do your best to cover it up. And then this building to the side of it is in theory, this would be just part of one big show building, just with multiple facades, and that's kind of like the vibe that I'm going for. But this would have the queue line. This would house the queue line for the ride, which we're gonna fill this building in with a bunch of barrels and stuff, because that's what Western is to me. Western is a bunch of crates and barrels and ropes and wagon wheels and stuff like that, which I feel like if you kind of clutter up an area, then it just kind of feels Western. So that's exactly what we are going to do, because there actually is no Western theme in the game, at least not yet. I kind of wish there was, as much as I do like the themes in the game. Like, I like the Greek and I like the aquatic theme, and I like the Viking theme. Like, they're not bad, they're just not the most how do I say, common themes in theme parks. So it's a bit harder to do stuff with them, which forces you to be a little bit more creative, which you can kind of see as a good thing or a bad thing, depending on how you look at it. But I'm doing my best here to make a nice little Western facade and Western buildings with a mix of the Viking pieces as well as some of the resort pieces, the aquatic resort pieces, which I really like. So as you can see, I'm doing art shapes for the roof. It's supposed to be a matted black roof. So again, you have to understand, this is a theme park Western area. This is not an actual like Western village. This is a theme park Western area. And so when you're kind of thinking like that, of course, you're not going to have like a full-scale Western building. These are simply just facade buildings, specifically that look like Western. They're not meant to be like actually like functional Western buildings, if that makes sense. I don't know how well I'm getting that across, but that's what I'm simply trying to get across, is that this is supposed to be a theme park building, so they're gonna have a black matted roof, and not like a real like actual like shingled roof or like wooden roof, like an actual building, if that makes sense. Here we are. I'm just toying around with the queue line, and then I get frustrated and I give up because it's just too close to the path and I didn't want to delete anything. So I end up just leaving that there. Here I actually lost some footage because you can see that we're building a barn next to a building that you didn't watch me build. But yeah, I lost the footage to that building. We will finish it. Right now the building to the left is very unfinished, but I will finish that later in this video. But of course, right now we are starting on Birdie's Barnyard BBQ, which is going to be like kind of like the signature barbecue place, more inspired by JB's at Six Flags New England. They have like a signature barbecue place. I mean, I guess Charlie's Saloon at Six Flags Great Escape is kind of like their signature place too. But usually like the Western areas kind of have like a signature eatery or like a place where you can kind of sit down and have a meal. And that's kind of what I wanted to do here. And what better way to do it than theme it to an actual barn? Not only does it kind of fit the Western theme, but it also adds a pop of color. Having a big red barn, it kind of, when you do Western, you kind of seem like you just do the same color palette over and over and over again, mainly because it's just like, that's what Western areas usually are. It's usually dark woods. But to be able to kind of have like a big red barn here and, add that splash of color, I really like. And of course, I actually want to do an interior here. I know I never do interiors, but here I want to do one just because it makes sense to have like an open door here, and then you'll be able to see like the inside of the cafeteria. It's not really that complicated of an interior either, that you'll see me do it, don't worry. But it's very, very simple. And of course the barn itself was pretty simple to do. Here we are just doing some custom doors. But the barn, you just get the basic shape and then you trim it up with the white wooden panels, or like the white wooden, like the flat wood pieces that you know I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, so you trim it up with those, and then it just makes it look like a barn, like right off the bat, and I think it looks really, really good. So, very simple doors here. I like it with the art shapes and everything. It gives it kind of like a nice like door handle look. It makes it look realistic. I really like it. Plus, it adds some color to the door, which I like. Again, variation is kind of like one of the biggest things that I'm about in this game. I don't want everything to look the same, which is funny because I use the same letters for all my signs. But as you can see, here we are just putting on the Barnyard BBQ sign. Trying to go with like a pretty big Western font, or at least like a generic Western font. And then we call it Name It After Birdie. I don't know who Birdie is, but I'm sure he's a pretty cool guy. And then we put some stars here. Very, very simple stuff, nothing crazy. And then we just put on some windows. And then I copy and paste the entire thing over because I'm gonna have it kind of enter from both sides. On the other side is where we're gonna actually have like the big plaza for the Mock Rides launch coaster that I want to do. Which if you guys have any name suggestions, I just think of like a generic. How do I say? Just think of like a generic Western roller coaster. You don't really need to know much about the coaster, if that makes sense, to name it. Think of it as like a family thrill launch coaster, I guess, and just name it Western. If you guys have any comments, if any suggestions that you can leave down in the comments, please do. I would really appreciate it, because I would also like to include, some people, because there's some really awesome supporters out there of this series and of the channel. So if I can, use one of their names, which, speaking of the names, we are calling this YEE-HAW Town. There was a lot of great suggestions. I saw one, I mentioned it in the past video or so. It was called Fire Whip Village. Someone suggested Fire Whip Village, and I really, really liked that suggestion. It's just, I feel like it's too serious, I guess, if that makes sense. Like, I really would like this to be YEE-HAW Town sounds cheesy. It sounds super on the nose, and I feel like that's kind of what this area is more or less. Like it's very like on the nose Western, which I really like that. I like the idea of having it like that. So I'm gonna go with YEE-HAW Town because it's really funny. Here we are making some flower beds, which just look awesome. I think these came out really nice. I trimmed up the curbs with some wood, and then of course I put some barrels in the ground, some wagon wheels, some crates, very, very basic stuff. And then here we are finishing up the bumper cars facade. And we're going to theme it to a livery stable, just like the one at Six Flags New England, which, oh my God, if you've ever seen the bumper cars at Six Flags New England, they are insane. Like, by far the best bumper cars, I think, probably in the United States. Like, they are so cool. They redid them. So they redid the bumper cars for the 2024 season. And what they did with them is they put these screens in, there's music, there's lights. It's like a dance club, but it's like a country dance club. It's so cool. I love it. It's great. It fits in the Crack Axle Canyon area so well. Like, I absolutely love it. It's great. How many times did I say I love it? It's great. I don't know. Here I am just struggling to find a piece. So yeah, that's cool. And then of course we're just making a custom light pole or light post. I don't know how I feel about them. I kind of start doing some different things here. As you can see, I put these lanterns in. I don't know how I feel about them, but I mean, as of right now, they're in there. I might delete them and just use like a generic light post in the end, because I don't know if they're like, they kind of look a little too themed, to be honest with you. But I like the idea of having them like in the middle of the flower beds there. I really like it. But yeah, anyway, back up here. Again, this whole time lapse is a bit all over the place, huh? Because I'm just kind of struggling what to do. Also, a lot of parts where I'm just like staring at my phone and not doing anything. Anyway, but it's called Big Joe's Livery Stable. I don't know why. I just felt like Big Joe was kind of like a Western name that worked, I guess. I don't know. Here we go. Hay for sale. Because again, if we're theming this to a livery stable, it would have advertisements on it. I don't know. Trust me, if you're looking at it right now and thinking that it's like a little not great, I promise it gets better. I do. I promise it gets better. If you want to like make your signs look a little bit better, I would just kind of just layer them a little bit. Having like a little like off-centered secondary part makes it just look so much cooler, a lot better. I really think it adds so much to it. I kind of learned that over with the boomerang. If you haven't watched that episode, please do. It's episode number 10, I believe. An absolute amazing build, by far my favorite build that we've done in the park. I'm really happy with how that came out. And the whole the whole 50s area came out really good. And we are so close to like 500 subscribers now, which I cannot believe. I've never had that many subscribers on any YouTube channel I've ever done before. So I'm really happy that everyone has kind of been very supportive of it, which is just great. Yeah, anyway, again, so we're all over the place today. So we're back inside of Birdie's Barnyard BBQ, and now we are actually going to finish up the theming and everything in here. Again, if you can tell what I'm doing on the time lapse, it is clutter, clutter, clutter. You put crates, you put barrels, you put anything you possibly can to just clutter it up and make it, feel Western. I feel like that's really all you have to do. In Planet Coaster 1, we had a lot of like actual Western pieces. Here, it's definitely more limited. So I'm kind of limited to just barrels and stuff. And I do have, I think I have the ability to make some of my own pieces. But if you have any suggestions of like what to actually do, please leave them down in the comments, because I can't think of anything. I don't know what it is. I just can't think of like what to actually build. So I would love to like create some stuff to have a little bit more variation than just, crates and barrels and rope and wagon wheels. So if you guys have any suggestions, please leave them down in the comments. Again, just comment. Tell me all your feedback. Everyone's been super, super supportive, except on the last video, because I mentioned that Vekoma was a Swedish manufacturer when it's actually not. It's a Dutch manufacturer, and I can't believe that slipped my mind. I'm usually really good on that kind of stuff, but then everyone in the comments, I'm like, literally the video was uploaded 3 days ago and I'm still getting comments on it, to like now being like, Vekoma is not Swedish. So you know what, good for you guys. I definitely missed out on that one, I guess. But anyway, here we are putting in just like, I don't know, just it felt like it would be weird to just have like a pathway here, so I decided to to put in just a tree. I don't know, felt like it worked. And plus, you know, have more of these trees in the park because I don't really have that many of them. And then this flower bed, which is not really a flower bed, it's like a rock bed. There was like a little gap there. I don't know if you saw it in the time lapse. A little gap in the path, between the path and the terrain. There was like a little gap, and it was really odd. I'm hoping going forward, Planko kind of fixes some of that stuff, mainly because it's so weird, like how that's still happening, you know. Again, they announced like the big roadmap going forward, which I'm really excited for. I'm really excited for the stock coaster cars. Like that's awesome. It would be nice to like build a kids coaster without the big dragon on the front. Of course, you saw us build a kids coaster. If you watched episode number 8, I believe, it's the most viewed episode of the series, which I think is insane. But we built an old style kids coaster, like an old style Alan Herschel inspired kids coaster, and we used the multi-dimension train because I just was like it's so much more unthemed than the big dragon head. So yeah, But honestly, if they just did this before, I would have used the regular kids coaster with the stock car. But whatever, it's fine. As you can see, we're inside the bumper cars queue line now and just cluttering it up. Hay bales, barrels, wagon wheels, different kinds of things, crates. Like again, just kind of cluttering it up, making sure it's looks Western. If you go inside the bumper cars queue line at Six Flags New England, they have a bunch of barrels and wagon wheels there too. It's really nicely themed. Very, very tasteful theming, I should say. And then of course we're calling the bumper cars the Boot Scootin' Bumper Cars because I feel like that's just such a good name. Like that's such a fire Western name. I absolutely love that. It works so well. And then putting on some rope and stuff up front just to Western it up a little bit. As you can see, we're gonna put some lights here as well as some more rope. Very, very simple stuff. Nothing too crazy. In terms of lighting for the area, it's gonna be kind of like a lot of yellow lights, if that makes sense, and not like bright in your face white lights. It's gonna be a lot of more dim yellow. I feel like it just makes the most sense. Here we are finishing up the blacksmith building that is on the side. This is more of just a show building. This is not gonna have any function to it at all. It's gonna be very, very, very simple. But I feel like every Western area kind of has a blacksmith building. I don't know why. I also don't know why every time I place that sign, it's upside down. I mean, literally go back and look at any clip of me placing down that sign. It's upside down every single time. I don't know if it's a game thing or it's me. I don't know, but it's always upside down. And then here I am trying to make a custom window. I don't like the look of that, so I changed it out for an art shape, a black art shape. It's just a lot more simple. It's very, very simple. But I wanted a little bit of a variation here. I didn't want a full-on glass window, if that makes sense, because I feel like a building like this just wouldn't have it. Yeah. Anyway. But yeah, speaking of the continuing on the roadmap, sorry, I get so off topic. I don't know, sometimes doing the time lapses, I have a hard time deciding what to talk about, or because a lot of people they have notes and stuff when they do the time lapses. I don't. Clearly, you can definitely tell I don't. So yeah. But speaking of the roadmap, oh, here we go. I place an anvil here because it's a blacksmith, and I just think it looks nice. As you can see, this is kind of what we're doing. We're just decorating this side area here, kind of as an entryway into the Western area. We're decorating it up, and we're gonna clutter it up with a bunch of Western stuff like crates and barrels. So and then obviously I'm putting in some more trees because forest because this is a wooded park anyway. But speaking of the roadmap, I'm just so excited for the updates. I was kind of getting a little nervous when I know Frontier said they were gonna do stuff early on in the year, but we didn't hear anything throughout pretty much all of January, and so finally to hear something, it was really nice. I absolutely love that. But I cannot wait to see all the fixes. I cannot wait to see all the updates. I really just want... Also, they're bringing back one of the old flat rides. Not a flat ride I'm particularly going to use. Let's be real. I mean, that's it's a very carnival-esque ride, if that makes sense. But hey, they're bringing back a new ride, and a new ride's great. See, look, it's upside down again. We're building the cattleman shop now. Again, the entire building here was built off camera, which is... I mean, I'm sorry, I apologize. I just didn't have the footage. Well, sorry, I did have the footage. I just deleted it because when I was building the Vekoma LSM coaster, which again, if you haven't watched that video, you totally should. It was our last video on the channel. When I was building that, I accidentally deleted the clip that I built this building in. But anyway, here we are kind of decorating the outside, and you guys can be the judge of how I decorate this because it's definitely interesting. Like, it's definitely intriguing, I think. I try to kind of clutter it up. This is supposed to be more of like a country store, if that makes sense. It's supposed to kind of be more like a variety store inside. You can get some plushes, you can get some candy and stuff like that. Very, very simple stuff. Here I am trying to make like a wanted sign for Queen Splash because I hate Queen Splash. King Coaster till I die. I absolutely despise Queen Splash. I'm just kidding. I don't know. But yeah, I'm trying to make a wanted poster for her, and I don't really like how it looks, to be honest with you, so I try to clutter it up. And I know this is supposed to be like for the resort set and stuff, but I think it kind of fits the vibe, no? Like, it's supposed to be just kind of like cluttered up posters and things. I don't know. I feel like it works to some extent. And again, to keep with the all over the place vibe that we already have going, I just switched to doing some lighting out of nowhere. I don't know why. And then, of course, here I am placing in the roof tiles. Very, very simple, super, super basic. Again, keeping with that black matted roof because a lot of these flat buildings wouldn't have a full-on completed roof, I feel like. They would just have kind of like a black matted roof because this is, again, it's a theme park. You have to understand, like, this is a theme park. I'm not trying to build a full-on Western village, like a real-life functional Western village. And then a lot of the old buildings a lot of the old Western buildings, in theme parks have like a big sign up there saying like when the town was built or when the building was built in the town's history. So I did that. And then of course now we're getting started on the YEE-HAW Town sign, which I think came out really good actually. YEE-HAW Town, a darn good place. Absolutely, I think it just looks awesome. It fits the part. I really like it. And of course, it was established in 1852 because it's exactly 100 years after Jukebox Junction would have been built. So I love it. It's great. I change up the colors a little bit because I just realized how like dark it actually was. You could barely see it. And then I copy and paste it and do like a little double take here, which I just think is just so awesome. It really does. It pops. Again, if you want to like improve your signage, just layer it up. Layer up the signage. It makes it just look so much better, so much more detailed. And I love it. And then of course we're gonna place it right there on the hill, very similar to like the Ghost Town sign at Six Flags Great Escape, but theirs has like a vulture on it, which I really like. But obviously I'm not making a vulture out of art shapes. It would look really bad. So yeah, and of course we're just gonna kind of clutter it up a little bit, and then that's it. That's pretty much the entirety of the whole sign, the whole entryway into the park. I'm gonna put some simple basic lighting there. And then I make this little flower bed up here that's going to have some trees just to try to kind of make it feel like you're entering a brand new area when you're coming up the hill here. Make it very hidden, like it's kind of like its own little thing, which I really like the idea of. And yeah, that's pretty much going to be it for the time lapse. So I will see you in the real-time portion. So we are now in the real-time portion. Of course, we are down by the forest walk area at the bottom of the hill here, as you can see. And then let's start with our little tour. So of course, it's very, very wooded. I think it looks awesome. You kind of come up the hill, and of course, we start off with the blacksmith to your right. Again, you have the anvil, all the crates and barrels and stuff. I just absolutely love it. I love the anvil because it's just such a nice little detail for the blacksmith. Very simple building, but I think it gets the job done. It gets the idea across. And then here's like the actual entryway for YEE-HAW Town. I love the sign. I think it looks great. It came out really nice. Again, super simple, but really that's all you need for Western. Like if you're trying to do a Western area, that's really all you need is simple. And then, of course, up here, we actually have our little Western Main Street. Cattleman shop, gifts, candy, dynamite. Yeah, they probably sell dynamite, or the park would probably just put that there as kind of like a little joke, but inside would kind of be more of like a country store, I think, which I really, really like. And I honestly, you can tell me how you feel about the the posters and stuff, but I like them. And then of course, you know, we have this kind of overhang here, which I think looks nice. Again, it fits the part of Western. Coming over here to the boot, scootin' bumper cars. Absolutely love this entrance. It's definitely inspired by the one at Six Flags New England. We come inside, so much clutter. It feels like a livery stable. I love it. It's great. Absolutely fantastic stuff. Very basic queue line. It's gonna probably spill out onto the midway, knowing the bumper cars, how popular they can be. Anyway, flower beds, I think they came out really nice. Again, just clutter everywhere. Going on to Big Joe's livery stable, we got hay for sale. Again, tons of clutter on the top. Very, very simple stuff. It's so easy to do Western, I think, because you just kind of clutter everything up. Nothing is neat about Western. You know, if you're doing a Western area, nothing is neat about it. Of course, here is me trying to shrink down the bumper cars ride pad. So this is not functional. People cannot actually like walk here or sit here, but guests will walk through this fence and then exit out over there by those barrels, which, you know, it's definitely a choice that I had to make, but I think in the end it looks nice, and I like how close you can get to the bumper cars here. If, like, you know, you're in this view, you can kind of walk right underneath the awning, which I really do like. So yeah. And then of course the big dog, Birdie's Barnyard BBQ. I absolutely love how this building came out. It's super, super simple, but man, a big red barn in the Western area, I mean, does it not, it's not a better match. Like, it's fantastic. Tons of clutter in here as well. Some minimal theming. You come in here, get your food, and then you sit down at like these log benches. Oh my God, I'm so happy with it. Tons of fluorescent lights too. Oh my gosh, look at all the beams above. It looks fantastic. Same exact thing on the other side. And I think it's relatively well scaled too. I think it looks great. So I'm really happy with how this whole building came out. I'm happy with how this whole area came out. I mean, it's fantastic. But yeah, so if you guys enjoyed what you guys saw today, wow. If you guys enjoyed what you saw today, please leave a like down below. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Seriously, this whole series has been getting so much support. I could not be more grateful. So that's pretty much going to be it for the entirety of the video, and that's the start of YEE-HAW Town. I will see you guys in the next one, in the next episode of American Dreams. So bye-bye.